Hi everyone, I'm Graddles, and welcome back to the Best Start 3 series. This is episode 16, and yeah, you might notice a bunch new stuff. So, let me get right into it and explain. And the reason I'm going to explain is because I have a lot of regular people that follow me through my series, and I got a big problem. Well, I had a big problem. So my microphone, when I went back to my recordings, was doing a lot of it sounded like a heartbeat. It was like a boom, boom, every few minutes. And it did it throughout the whole recording, and it just was not usable. It would have drove you all nuts. So anyway, the last episode was supposed to be motors, phase 3 space elevated parts. And I actually put in a new gas station, which I did not record because I already did a gas station episode and showed you how to do it. This was just necessary because there's only 8 gas pumps there. Now we have 18 in total with those over there, so 10 more. So we just needed that because it was so much backup, and I am not attached to my body. And you may notice I have hover, and that is because we completed the space elevator parts. And I do have some footage if you would like to see it, but I don't think it's necessary. You know how the space elevator goes by now, I'm sure. So anyway, let me take you over to here. Let's start down below because that is quite massive. Now, if you've watched my other series, you know that I usually make space elevator parts on the fly. And what that means is I just grab a couple of storage containers, throw the parts I need in it, and throw down the machines. This time I decided to set up a factory and record the whole thing, but apparently the gods do not want me to show you this process. So, here's what we have. I have I have two truck stops coming in. I tried to say truck stop in one, but yeah. 2 truck stops coming in, one with rotors, one with reinforced plates. They're going into bins, and they are making smart plating. The smart plating is going into storage because I do want to store it for later on, just in case. I like to have extras. I could always sink it later, and it runs down there to one of the manufacturers for the phase 3 parts. Over here, this is automated wiring. It requires stators and cable. So over here we have wire coming in because we need wire coming in, and we also have pipes coming in. And this is where this is being stored, but there isn't being stored because it's going over to another part. But anyway, you're wondering where the hell are the stators, because we didn't have stators, right? So, that's not where that was supposed to be. Christ. Alright, here we go. So, stators, pipes, and wire. So, I had pipes, I had beams, and I had wire, I had cable, but not quite enough of each of those things. I wanted to make sure that we had quite a bit of stuff going on. So, over here, there is coal. Hello. Right there. And there's 2 iron nodes in here. Let me show you on the map where I am. It's right here, and there is 2 iron nodes. Let me show you really quickly. Let me open the map, not escape. Here we go. So there's the 2 iron nodes that we're pulling off of right over there. And that is right here and right here. These are the iron nodes. Right here and right here. And one is going to making iron ingots into making pure, iron pipe alternatives with iron. And this one is just a simple straight up beams recipe for foundries with the coal and the iron. So that is making us some extra beams and some extra pipes. So a big deal of that was to go to just space elevator parts, although once I get into trains, I am going to need to probably put some extra, because we have beams like crazy, so it's fine. So we have extra beams when we need them. So anyway, and the copper and the cable. So over there is where we are making compact coal. There was a copper node over there. So I just made 16 wire, and half of that, 8, was going into cable. And that is got truck runs for cable and wire. So that will be for things that we need for the space elevator part as well. Again, I know this is complicated, somewhat, to talk about without showing. If you'd like, come in the Discord. I will share my saved game with you. Any blueprints, anything like that. Just come on in and say, Grattles, can I please see where the blueprints are? And I'll show you. And I have no problem with that. So anyway, here's modular frames. Modular frames are coming in, and they are mixing with beams. And modular frames and beams make the versatile framework. That was one of the space elevator parts. So this has nothing to do with the stators or the motors or the smart plating or anything like that. Whew. Okay, 2 more truck stops over on this side is circuit boards and computers. And then 2 more truck stops on this side, which is rubber and heavy modular frames. Let's go sneak outside, even though the door is there. I'm breaking through anyway, because that's what I do. So half of those stators are going down into there to make that automated wiring, which I think I showed you. But anyway, here's the stator setup right here. These are the 3 stators. They are fully overclocked because we need that many. So 12.5 times 3. Half of those stators are going to the motors, and half of those are going towards the automated wiring, which we need for another space part. So let's come on up here. The motors factory. These are the motors. We are making 1, 2, 3. These make 5 per minute, so 15 motors. We are storing them in here. We also dimensional depot. And the motors are going over to this part over in here. So you'll see over here they're dropping down, and they're going over here to make some modular motors with the rubber and the smart plating. So that's where the smart plating comes in. That's where the motors come in, and that's where the rubber comes in from the truck station. So 2 of these parts, the motors and the smart plating, are being made pretty close by. Over here, this gets a little more complicated. Here's that automated wiring. We needed that. And then we have our circuit boards, our computers, and our heavy modular frames coming from our mini mega factory to make our adaptive control units. Again, these are just going. I'm letting them go. And yeah, my inventory is full. I was messing around. And I'll show you with what later. But anyway, these are just getting stored for later on when we have to make all our phase 4 parts. And I don't know why I hit escape. It's fine. So anyway, that is that. All right, trains. So I came up with this pretty simple design. And simple meaning it's just simple. It's just a concrete pillar. That's what this is. Small. It is these metal beams. It is a concrete slab and half slabs underneath. And the rail itself. And stop pulling out the damn chainsaw. That's it. So I did try to get a little fancy. And by the way, this is our new Mark II blueprint designer, which is 5x5, which is nice. Which I technically did not need, as you can see. But anyway, that's it. I tried to make some pretty fancy ones. The problem is when you start inclining and declining and blah, 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 and turning, then a lot of the side rails don't exactly match up. Let me show you a little bit about what I'm talking about. Some of you probably know already. I made a ton of different trains. Let's like that. So you could see it's quite extravagant. Not gonna lie. That's pretty extravagant. So yeah. And the problem with this is, let me set this down over here somewhere. You can actually see. It looks nice, and it looks better than just plain old concrete and stuff like that, and you know, it looks pretty cool. But But once you do inclines and declines, let me see if I can catch a little electric here somewhere. Thank you. These rails won't match up, and then there'll be different levels, and they just don't look good when it starts doing that. I think what I'll do is, I think this whole trains is going to be more than just this episode. I think I'm going to run trains. I obviously don't need any stations yet, but we will be doing bauxite next, and maybe more power. I did set up some augmented power. By the way, these are augmented power, and it takes 10 somersaults to actually run this thing. But on the fly, you can add some power wherever you need it. Let me show you the inside. It takes 10 somersaults, and it will give you 5 megawatts power. And it'll also boost you per unit. So we do have some extra power just with that. Thought it looked cool. We don't need it, but you know, I had nothing I was doing with the somersaults anyway at the moment. So anyway, let me show you how I plan on running these trains. So let's come on down and I'll show you a little bit of auto connect and how things work. So blueprints, we went with this simple, this one right here. No hyper tubes, no nothing. Just a simple thing, and it's going to run down the middle of the road. So you can actually press H and nudge it wherever you want it. So if we wanted to come in, ouch. Say this is the corner we wanted to come in, 1, 2. We could come past this 2 right there and line it up perfectly there. Let me find that power again. Such a bitch. Actually, we could hook this up now to power. It'll give us a little bit more range there. So anyway, that's pretty much all it's going to be. It's going to be a 2-way, one this way, one that way, train. If you press F and you're on our blueprint, you can copy it. You can press R and auto connect. And then once you do that, you can press click and you can actually turn it and line it up, say, there. Just like that. Which makes a nice curve. But you want to make sure you're centered to here. I did not come down by 2, I came by 1, so it's not exactly a perfect curve. You can just delete the whole thing by doing that. Do that again. And let me show you, auto connect. And then once you get into this spot, you can actually line it up, press H, and say I wanted to bring it to the second one, like I did the other one. There we go. And then click it in. So blueprinting is absolutely a must with these. It just saves you so much more time. So that's basically it. I don't know really what more I could tell you. Once you do that, then it just locks. So I'm going to run a bunch of these trains, and then I'm going to set up a couple of stations to show you how to set up some stations, and I'll kind of bring you on my journey of how I'm going to do this, especially when I get into inclines and declines and intersections and all that good stuff. So let me put down a couple of trains and, well, tracks, and I'll be back. Alright, so I've been pretty busy running these trains, and as you can see, here's where we had that incline. So what I did was, I just took that like 1 meter, because that's what this is, not that, and kind of brought it up and over, and that worked pretty nicely. It's pretty smooth, nothing too crazy. You could make this a little more gentle by coming back a couple, and so say we wanted to come back to here. So I'm gonna come back here just to show you something. Alright, so that's where our level down here is, and that's where our level up here is. What you could do is, don't mind the writing here, it's fine. You could take, say that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So say we did 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll keep it there. Take this ramp. Where is it? Gosh darn it, I lost it. There we go. And come down, say, we deleted 4, right? Now that's still over our lights there, right? It's not terrible. And like here you see we leveled off here. So this is just bringing us down just a touch. I'm just gonna do this because it doesn't matter because I'm not keeping that. I'm gonna press R to delete the blueprint there. And then what I can do is delete these guys, because these were just the underneath ramps. Alright, then I could take this foundation and come out like that. And then as you can see, it gives us more of a gradual up and down. The problem with this step is that when you start doing this, right, I'm going to come to the edge where it's popped up just a little bit, and then that will come there, which that is not lined up, is it? Oh, it is. I think it is. No. Let's try it from here. But anyway, as I was saying, you kind of want it to not bend down. You want to kind of keep it up, but not too much. It's kind of like a balance here, right? Now step back here, and you'll see it kind of bumps up, but then goes up. It gives it a more gradual kind of incline there. So now you could do that on this side. Gosh darn it, zoop. And now this one could be deleted here. Alright, so once you have that, then you could do the same thing, but you want to see where you stopped with this one, which is right at this point here. I'm just going to bring this up and stop right there. This way they both match up, and there. So as you can see, that's sloping down and that's lifting up. So let's try that again. It all depends on how you lay in the track to start with. So let's grab that again. So you can see that's popped up a little bit. Let's come over to here. So that wants to pop up there. There. So anyway, the reason I'm showing you this is because sometimes you can play around with it to get it to kind of go a little bit smoother. Now, say you like this incline here, and you want to bring it into, say, here now. You could come up, but you have nowhere to clip it in here. What you want to do is kind of come in, grab the piece, make it until it's blue or yellow, and then delete it. So you made a new segment now. So now, if you want to grab it from here and pull it down just a bit further, let's see, there, that lifted it up just a little bit, as you can see, but not much, right? Because here's another piece there. But it makes it a little bit different. But to make those segments, say I want to come a little higher, come over to here, make that segment, delete it, and then grab that and pull it down. And again, you'll see it just lifts it enough that it makes it a little bit more smooth. And as you can see, that is a better connection. That also works when you want to turn off of places and it's not as smooth. So say you have a zigzag pattern. Let's come down over here, because this kind of zigzags over here. So as you can see, this zigzags like that, right? So say I want it to come from, say, I don't mind this turn right here. I could put a piece here somewhere. Just find a spot that you can lean it on just to get it yellow. Sometimes it's difficult. There you go. You could leave it there just so you know where your point is at. And then you want to take this one and put it there. So that gets rid of that. And that piece. And you can see it's just slightly, I don't know why I have no power. There we go. Slightly a little better, but anyway, that's kind of how you can play around and just get a little bit better angles and stuff like that. Just add your segment pieces, because that's going to help you a lot. Say this one, let's see if I can do this one, because damn fucking thing is no power. So here, there we go. Now I can get rid of that one and that one and that one. And I got no power again. Fucking power, please. And as you can see, that's a much smoother curve right there. And no zigzagging. And then you can always put braces in underneath. Now another good brace piece for this, I'm not worried about this because I'm going to be changing all this up. But another good brace piece is these guys right here. These small, let me get a nice piece here. These small pillars snap to these. And then you could just run them down. Obviously, wow, I just got hit by a car. And I got hit by a car again. I think I need to move. Alright. These things snap right to the middle of these things, and you can actually put braces just like that on those. Just so it has something underneath it. So, yeah, I'm going to move on. I'm going to start straightening out some of the pieces I have done. And I'll be back. Alright, we are back, and I have trains. Trains going everywhere. Let's get down a train. We had to put up a station to get the electric. Otherwise it wouldn't work. Yeah, let's go that way. Let's see what we get. Alright, so this goes past the main part of town where our power is. And our copper, our main hub. Maybe we'll put a station over here somewhere. This goes past the second gas station. And then a motors factory and our space parts. I still have to work on some of these tracks. They're not the best. But I've been working on trying to get them as smooth as possible. And they are working quite nicely. Over here, we do have over in between the fuel factory there. Over here, we came across with a bridge. Well, we're going to need a bridge. We don't have one just yet. To go down there, that would be quite a feat. It's quite low compared to our elevator here. Over here is where I put a station just to get some power. Up there is our turbo fuel, which we'll be adding to that. Because now we have Mark 5 belt soon. We can unlock that very soon. This goes through the steel factory. We kind of have to wiggle around some of these pipes. But nothing clips, which is good. Not even on that clip part there. And then this brings us down over to here. I do not have this looping back over to that section. So I'm just going to stop it here so you can see where that goes. Alright, let's stop here. Let me jump out. And we'll delete this. We'll put this one over to here. This kind of connects. Again, I don't like this sharp bend right here. Gonna have to work on that a little bit. We do have... Let's see. This is an intersection, so we can come back around this way. And that is in front of the fuel factory, the hub. Like I said, I think we could probably set up a station somewhere in here. That would be good. I did not want to turn that way, but it's too late. So I'm gonna stop. Pop out. I gotta wait for it to stop. Delete it. And let's go back the other way. I am going to set up a station so you know how, but to switch these little arrows, just press A or D, we're going in the right direction. So, going this way. And then this brings us back this way. Now, I do want to... let's go this way a second. So I did wrap it around this mini mega factory, which I might do something with later. This turns a little too tight. I might do something a little bit better with that. But it actually goes right over the void. So let me jump out again. And wait for it to stop. Dismantle. Grab another engine. We'll go in that direction. Yeah, that's right. And we'll go around the mini mega hub here. Again, too many wiggles. I want to make this a little smoother. But for now, I wanted to keep it somewhat close because it is over the void. And I didn't want to not have pillars underneath our train. Over here, there won't be pillars. We'll make some kind of bridge. And then that'll wrap us around into this space here. So I just wanted a little bit of variety. And I think I got it. So let me dismantle this guy. So yeah, I think I got the train network going really well. It is getting dark, and when it gets light outside, I think we're going to figure out a place to put some kind of train station so we can bring a train through here where the hub is. Let's see. Maybe I want to get rid of these towers too. That's another thing. I have power running under the trains, and eventually I plan on disconnecting a lot of these power things, outlets, whatever. And this way, just running them under the train should be enough. I want to add some of these guys underneath, you know, in spots like that. So this way it has some support. Anyway, I'm going to think it through, and then I will show you how to put them down, how they work, how to set them up, and how to name them, and stuff like that. So, let me come on up here, and I will be back as soon as we get some daylight. Alright, so let me show you how easy it is to put down a station, and show you, you know, how to set this all up. So, we're going to go into train stations, and be wary. Be mindful. Mindful is the word I'm looking for. Of that arrow. See the arrow? It points in a certain direction. That means the tracks are gonna have to line up with that. Otherwise, you'll have a problem. So anyway, I know that I have, say, right-handed traffic. So this right here will be going in this direction, which means I can take this track and apply it right to this one. Now, if I wanted to put on any kind of platforms, I can do this. I can rotate it with my scroll wheel. Easy peasy. But I don't need anything to be dropped off here right now, so it's all good. So now I need to name it as Grattle's Hub, because this is where it is located. And as you can see, it has no power. And you don't need to hook it up to power, because once we connect it to here, because our other train station is hooked to power, we have power. So I think we'll go right to there. It's fine. So now we should have power. There you go. So now I can put a train down on here. Let's take this locomotive, make sure it's in the right direction. If I needed any freight trains, they just attach. They snap right to it. Not an issue. So you want to set up a timetable. You hit edit timetable. And right now I have one by the bauxite because I do want to show you how to do like the pass signals. I'm not very good with pass signals and block signals. I do what works. But anyway, I'm going to set up a couple of different trains just to see how it runs. So this one is going to go to the turbo factory. And then back to here, and I'm going to save the changes and turn on self-driving, and I must have the other station correctly placed, otherwise it would not be able to find it. If it was the wrong way or anything, the wrong tracks, it would tell me. So anyway, these tracks are not the greatest, but the train is off and on its way, and let's jump out here a second, and we'll go over to here for the bauxite. So I have a train over here. I've not set him up yet, but let's see. Edit timetable. This guy will say goes to here, and then goes to here, and then you could do a multiple one, stops there. Now, obviously, you know, it's not going to be picking anything up or doing anything, but we're going to turn on self-driving. It's going to tell me where it needs to go to next, and then we'll go from there. So I have no path signals or no block signals down at the moment. I'm not sure why he's not going. There he goes. He must have had to wait for something. There's a tree there I need to cut down. That's fine. But yeah, let's see what happens here. So block signals and pass signals, it allows you to stop the train, so this way it doesn't run into another train. So now we have 2 trains going around this at the moment, and there he's passing us, which is lovely. All right, so block signals and pass signals. I think I read on a post somewhere that the easiest way to remember this is a pass signal should go on the entrance. And if it's coming, so our traffic is going in this direction, this traffic light needs to be on this side. So pass go into the entrance, and block signals go on the exit. So if we do that, so that would be the exit of the intersection. And then over here, that would be the exit. And then that would be the entrance. And then over here, when we come over to here, this would be the exit. And then we have to put a pass signal. Let's grab that over on this side. So we have to flip it and make sure it's a path. And see if it works. Yes. So the pass signal always goes to the entrance of an intersection, and the block signal always goes to the exit of an intersection or a train stop, or just, you know, any train stops. So that's the easiest way to remember it, because I honestly, like, I know what the definition is, I've looked it up. But, like, that's the easiest way for me to explain it, and that's because that's how I read it. So, again, here, the entrance of the intersection would be the path. So, over here would be another path signal on the entrance. Let's come over here. Where is it? That's the entrance. And then the exit would be on the opposite side. And the opposite side of here. Let's come over here. There we go. Come on. There we go. And then on this side, this would be the exit. So let's flip it. And the entrance. So flip it. And there we go. No more flashing yellow. Everybody knows which way to go. Now, when you set these actually set. So block signals, let me show you what block signals do. You can set these along the way, and it will change the color of these guys. Here, wait, let me do another one. So it changes the color, and that means that only a specific, like if a train is on this rail, nothing else can pass through here. So this way you can place them a little bit apart from each other. So this way, you know, you don't have 2 trains too close together. And that's helpful. So I do like to, you know, give us a nice little span, but also keep them from touching each other. So as you can see, yeah, everybody's lit up and going. We can run some trains, and you could see, you know, we could run a couple of trains and see where they go, and that they don't bump into each other. Let's put down, actually we could put a train down anywhere. We have Make sure you stay with your right-hand traffic. So let's take this one. We'll change the color of this one so we know which one it is. Let's just make it chrome. And this could be mine, so we'll call it... where's my train name? Here we go, right here. Grattles train, and then edit the timetable. We can add all these places on there, save the changes, turn on self-driving. Let me jump out, and we could have just a couple of trains running back and forth. Let's do one over here. We'll make this one, make sure it's going in the right direction. We'll make this one, we'll name it Turbo, just to have a turbo train. We'll edit the timetable. We'll have it also stop at all the 3 places. Save the changes, turn on self-driving, and hop out. And let's color this one, say Caterium. There we go, just so it has a different color. Because we already have an orange one, we have a chrome one. And so now these trains are just going to be whipping around, going through. You can see the train coming around this way. Here it comes. And they'll just be running throughout the town just for fun, right? It looks lively when they're running around town like that. There's the other one all the way back there coming along, what we're going to need to make a bridge out of. There's the one over there at the box site. And these guys should follow. I have to do I have the block signals? I do. I just making sure I have all the block signals where I need them. It looks like I do, so we should be safe. Should be. Yeah, it looks like everybody's safe. And there that one goes, and there that one goes. And they're just traveling around. So, yep, that's how you put in pass signals. And I'm having trouble with trucks. I know I need to deal with that. Oh, shit. Yeah. So guys, after many hours and much work, I got this train system going. It looks a lot better than it did, and that is because I decided to make most of it the same height, and I did different rail networks. I did this one split down this road. Some of the cars, or the trucks I should say, didn't like the beams in the middle, and most of them are all right with it. Every once in a while I'll have a truck that did not like it, so I kind of split that up. This road, I haven't had an issue. They've been taking it fine with the beams down the middle. No issues at all. Let me get back in my body here. I did a couple of bridges here. I did a bridge across there. Again, trying to keep it all pretty much uniform and the same height. This way I can... it's just a lot easier to put in. Some of these curves I'm not exactly happy with. This one is a little bit janky. I don't know. It's all right. It gets the job done. And then I have a bridge over there. You could see the train coming across now. Right over there. And that comes straight across. That's a little higher than the one over here. And so it does slope right about here down. So that's about the only big slope I have, which is not a big slope. And by keeping it the same height, actually, it worked out well. Next episode, bauxite. I'm going to start running bauxite. This is going to be, blah, 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 if I could speak. This is going to be where the bauxite's factory going to be. And we are going to be using alternative recipes for that. With the petroleum coke and different things like that. Again, I'm going to have to do a large preset before I come in, just because I have to get copper, I have to get oil, I have to get just so many things that need to be done, and we're going to be setting up trains for that instead of trucks. Our trucks are doing pretty decently now, and they're running pretty smoothly. So yeah, again guys, if you like my content and you want to see more, like, subscribe, comment, share, do all those good things. I do have memberships, 99 cents and $2.99, and with the $2.99 you'll get a shout out after every episode. And I almost got hit by a truck. And yeah, just like coming up next. Also, keep in mind that I do have the Discord. If you want to come in, I'll share my world, I'll share blueprints, whatever you want, and I will say I have no problem sharing any of that stuff with you guys. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.